The worst kind of humiliation isn't when a stranger laughs at you. It's when someone you once called family smiles while doing it. I still remember that Sunday afternoon as clearly as if it happened yesterday. My husband's parents had invited everyone to celebrate his father's retirement. The house was full of laughter, children running through the backyard, and relatives I hadn't seen in months. I stood in the kitchen, quietly helping prepare the food like I always did. I wasn't the loudest person in the family. I preferred listening instead of talking. I believed kindness spoke louder than attention. But to my sister-in-law Melissa, my quiet nature was something to make fun of. She had always found little ways to embarrass me. Sometimes she joked about my simple clothes. Other times she laughed because I still drove my old car while everyone else showed off expensive SUVs. I ignored it. I believed keeping peace was stronger than winning arguments. That day, however, everything changed. As everyone gathered around the dining table, Melissa suddenly stood up with her wine glass raised. "I want to make a toast," she announced. Everyone became silent. She looked directly at me with a smile that didn't feel kind. "You know," she laughed, "every family has one person who never really accomplishes much." A few people looked confused. Then she pointed at me. "And ours has Emily." The room exploded with awkward laughter. She continued before anyone could stop her. "She barely speaks, never has exciting stories, never wears anything fashionable. Honestly, she's just there." More uncomfortable chuckles filled the room. I felt every eye turning toward me. My cheeks burned. My hands trembled beneath the table. My husband stared down at his plate without saying a single word. That silence hurt more than Melissa's words. Then she added the sentence that completely shattered my heart. "If Emily disappeared tomorrow, I don't think family dinners would even change." The room became painfully quiet. No one defended me, not my husband, not my mother-in-law, not anyone. I forced a small smile, excused myself, and walked outside before anyone could see the tears filling my eyes. Standing alone in the backyard, I asked myself one question. How had I spent years trying to earn love from people who enjoyed watching me suffer? But what I didn't know that day was that Melissa had just made the biggest mistake of her life. Because hidden behind her confidence was a secret that was only hours away from destroying everything she had built. And fate had chosen me to witness it. I stayed outside until I could breathe normally again. Part of me wanted to leave immediately. Another part refused. For years I had accepted every insult because I believed one day things would change. Instead, they had become worse. When I walked back inside, I noticed Melissa rushing upstairs while secretly checking her phone. She looked nervous. That wasn't like her. Melissa loved attention. She loved being the center of every conversation. But now she looked frightened. A few minutes later, my father-in-law realized an important folder containing retirement investment documents was missing. Everyone started searching the house. Melissa suddenly spoke. "Maybe Emily accidentally moved it while pretending to help." The accusation hit me like another slap. "I didn't touch anything," I answered quietly. She shrugged dramatically. "Well, mistakes happen." Several relatives looked suspiciously toward me. I felt completely alone. Then my father-in-law remembered the security cameras installed near his office after a neighborhood burglary months earlier. "Let's just check the footage," he said. Melissa's smile disappeared instantly. "No need," she replied too quickly. But it was already too late. The television displayed the camera recording. There I was, helping set the table. Then another image appeared. Melissa quietly entering the office. She looked around to make sure nobody was watching. She opened the drawer, removed the folder, slipped it into her designer handbag. The room fell completely silent. No one spoke. Melissa's face turned pale. My father-in-law stared at the screen in disbelief. "Melissa," he whispered. She tried to laugh. "I was just organizing." But another camera angle appeared. This time everyone clearly watched her taking photos of financial documents before hiding them. My father-in-law slowly asked, "Why?" She couldn't answer. Her husband stepped back from her. My husband finally looked at me. For the first time all afternoon, he understood. Every accusation, every insult, every cruel joke. She had been distracting everyone from herself. Within minutes, another truth surfaced. Melissa had secretly been drowning in debt. She had planned to use her father-in-law's financial information to convince investors she had far more wealth than she actually did. Her perfect lifestyle, the expensive clothes, luxury vacations, designer handbags. Much of it had been purchased with borrowed money. The confident woman who laughed at everyone else had built her life on lies, and now those lies were collapsing in front of the entire family. I didn't smile. I didn't celebrate. I simply watched as the woman who had spent years trying to make me feel small suddenly realized she couldn't hide anymore. Until everything changed once again, because my father-in-law turned toward me. Those 2 words carried more weight than every insult I had endured. That evening became something no one in the family would ever forget. Melissa tried everything. She blamed stress, she blamed debt, she blamed misunderstandings. She even tried blaming me. If Emily hadn't been so sensitive, none of this would have happened. No one believed her anymore. The truth had finally become louder than her performance. Her husband quietly asked for his car keys. He left the house alone. Several relatives followed shortly after. The celebration had ended long before sunset. Over the next few weeks, Melissa's carefully created image completely fell apart. Friends discovered she had borrowed money she couldn't repay. Business partners withdrew their trust. People who once admired her confidence realized it had always been built on appearances instead of honesty. As for me, something inside me changed forever. I stopped apologizing for being quiet. I stopped believing kindness meant accepting disrespect. Most importantly, I stopped trying to earn approval from people who had already decided not to value me. A month later, my husband sat beside me at our kitchen table. "I failed you," he admitted. "I should have defended you." Hearing those words mattered, but healing required more than apologies. For the first time in our marriage, I chose myself before everyone else. We spent months rebuilding trust through honest conversations and counseling. Some relationships survived, others didn't. And I finally accepted that not every broken relationship deserves another chance. Months later, another family gathering was held. This time the atmosphere felt different. No one made jokes at someone else's expense. No one competed for attention. People listened more carefully. My father-in-law smiled warmly as I arrived. "I'm glad you're here," he said. Those simple words healed wounds that expensive gifts never could. Melissa wasn't invited, not because anyone wanted revenge, but because trust, once destroyed, is difficult to rebuild. Looking back now, I realize something important. The people who mock others in public are often hiding private fears of their own. They believe making someone else feel smaller will somehow make them appear bigger. But life has a strange way of exposing the truth. Respect cannot be stolen, confidence cannot be borrowed, and kindness is never weakness. That day, Melissa tried to make me the smallest person in the room. Instead, she revealed who she truly was. And I learned that sometimes the greatest revenge isn't shouting back. It's standing quietly, while the truth speaks for itself.